Chapter 2, Into Someone Else's Shoes. The sound of two wooden swords colliding filled the air. The man and the woman both had a firm grip on their respective weapons, locked in a fierce battle. Despite her delicate appearance, the woman fought with the same ferocity as any seasoned warrior. Her movements were graceful, yet powerful, and it was clear that she was determined to win this match. The onlookers were taken aback by the sight of a woman fighting so fiercely. It was unusual to see a woman of her stature engaging in combat. With her gentle features and regal bearing, she looked more like a princess who should be protected, rather than a knight who did the fighting. Yet, she was not afraid to engage in battle, and her opponent was quickly learning that she was not to be underestimated. As the battle continued, the woman took a step back to regroup. She concentrated her weight on her thighs, building up the strength she needed for her next attack. She narrowed her gaze, focusing her mind and her body, and then charged forward once more, determined to overcome her opponent. Her attack was swift and powerful, the force of which caught her opponent off guard. In the next moment, her opponent's grip on his wooden sword faltered, and the weapon fell from his grasp, hitting the ground with a loud thud. The woman stood victorious, her breath coming in short gasps as she caught her breath. Despite her appearance, she was a formidable fighter, and her opponent had learned a valuable lesson. The winner is Zandi. The referee's voice echoed through the arena as the crowd erupted in cheers. Zandi raised her arms in triumph, basking in the adoration of the spectators. She was the undisputed champion, having fought fiercely and won the match with her skill and determination. However, Zandi's joy was short-lived as she heard the loser's words. As he walked towards his friends, she overheard him say, "Of course, I just let her win. That's what real gentlemen do." Zandi was taken aback by his words. All her hard work and dedication were being diminished by this man's false modesty. The woman frowned in annoyance as she heard the same old words from yet another defeated opponent. Despite her proficiency with the sword, some men still felt the need to belittle her victories by claiming that they had let her win. She couldn't understand why they couldn't accept defeat gracefully. Needing to freshen up after her intense training session, the woman headed to the comfort room. The physical exertion had left her clothes drenched in sweat, and she was eager to wash away the grime and refresh herself. She stripped down and stepped into the shower, letting the warm water wash over her. After toweling herself dry and changing into casual clothing, the woman stood before the mirror and studied her reflection. With waist-length straight chocolate brown hair and round, expressive brown eyes, she was a striking figure. Her nose was perfectly chiseled, and her full lips were coated in peachy-colored lipstick. Her skin had a pinkish-white glow, highlighting her voluptuously fit body, a figure that was both envied by other women and admired by men. Being the only heir to one of the wealthiest families in her country, the woman was cautious when it came to making friends. She knew that many people only sought to be her friend because of her social status, not because of who she was as a person. She longed for genuine friendship, rather than just acquaintances based on her name. Despite the difficulties she faced, the woman held her head high. She was proud of who she was and what she had accomplished, and she refused to let anyone dim her light. She was Alexandria Villamor, the heiress, and was known to few people as Zandi, a girl who had a passion for swordplay and reading. The woman made her way back to her family's manor, feeling a sense of emptiness as she arrived to find it empty, as usual. Her parents were absent, away on business for one of their many companies. She sighed dejectedly, the weight of loneliness settling heavily on her shoulders. Just then, she was approached by a man in his late 40s. It was Haim, their family butler. He gracefully curtsied before her and delivered some news that brought a glimmer of excitement to her day. "Young mistress," he said, "the package you've been eagerly awaiting has arrived. I've taken the liberty of placing it in your media room for you." The woman's eyes lit up at the news, and she made her way to the media room, eager to see what was waiting for her. Upon reaching the media room, Zandi's excitement was palpable. She eagerly and carefully opened the box to reveal its contents. Inside, she found a helmet-mounted display, HMD, a small black electronic device, and a manual. Despite the advancements in technology, many companies still provide paper manuals to accommodate customers who have not yet adapted to the latest technologies. Determined to learn how to use the HMD, Zandi took the time to read the manual thoroughly. She absorbed the information and familiarized herself with the device, ensuring that she knew how to use it to its full potential. With newfound knowledge, Zandi placed the helmet over her head and made herself comfortable on the sofa bed. With a confident voice, she exclaimed, "New world login." As she spoke, a flash of light appeared before her from the HMD display. It was followed by a pop-up window appearing in front of her. Zandi's eyes widened in excitement as she took in the display, eager to explore the new world that lay before her. The HMD represented a new frontier for Zandi, an escape from the loneliness and isolation she often felt in her real life. With the device, she could venture into new worlds, meet new people, and experience new adventures. Zandi felt her heart race with anticipation, knowing that she was about to embark on a journey unlike any she had ever taken before. As she delved into the world within the HMD, Zandi couldn't help but feel grateful for the package that had arrived. It was a gift that promised to bring new experiences, new friends, and new adventures into her life. She was ready to fully embrace this new world, eager to see where it would take her and what adventures awaited her within. What username do you wish to be known in this world? Gamer _ Zandi looked at it closely and said, Alexis. After answering, a clicking sound was heard and the word gamer was changed to Alexis. A moment later, the window disappeared. A young curvaceous woman, a game non-player character, Zandi assumed, appeared before her. Welcome to the new world. You are about to enter the continent of Pangea where great adventures await you. To start your journey, you needed an avatar that you will use to roam around the continent. Are you a girl or a boy? Zandi contemplated for a moment, then answered, boy. She had enough of belittling because she is a girl. In this game at least, she would finally hear the admission of defeat from the people she had defeated. The artificial intelligence nodded and continued, which appearance do you prefer to use in the game? For my avatar in the game, I'd like to have long, brown hair tied neatly at the back of my head, Zandi stated. I'd also like a lean and athletic body that is capable of properly wielding a sword. As for my facial features, I would like them altered from my current appearance to a more masculine version, she animatedly pointed to her face as she spoke. As you wished. The artificial intelligence acknowledged. In an instant, the beautiful Zandi turned into a handsome male, now known as Alexis of the New World. Congratulations, you have successfully created a character. The game can allow any player to create up to 3 characters at once. Would you like to create another character? Nope. Zandi, who is now the gamer Alexis, answered quickly. Do you want to view your status option? The game-based informant asked. No. To view your status anytime during the game, you just have to say, Options menu, then select status option on the upper right of the pop-up toolbar, the AI explained. In which kingdom do you wish to start your adventure? The artificial intelligence then explained the properties of all the 7 kingdoms in the game. Kingdom Pito. Alexis answered after hearing the thorough descriptions of all the 7 kingdoms of Pangea. We are having a survey right now, which is why we are going to ask you about the class you wish to be a part of as you play the game. I wanted to be a Sathwa Damara. In the real world, Zandi always chose to be a holy knight in all the role-playing games she had played. In this game, the swordsmen who mastered magic and first aid healing skills as well are known to be the Sathwa Damaras. Most of the players who aspired to be a Sathwa Damara had chosen Kingdom Dalawa because of the variety of temples of several deities erected there. You are the first to choose Kingdom Pito. This is because in that kingdom there are only 2 deities to choose from, either Kagulahan, the deity of war, or Kamadayan, the deity of death. This information, which was provided by one of the former beta testers, was posted on the official New World game website. "Can we ask what is your reason for this?" the AI inquired. "Because I wanted to be different," Alexis answered. "And also, I wanted to improve the status of Kingdom Pito. I can't do that from the outside, so I have to change it from within." After the survey questions, Alexis was transported to a slum area. As Alexis explored his surroundings, he quickly realized that he was in the capital of the Kingdom Pito. Before starting the game, he had researched the different kingdoms in Pangea and learned that Halen was the only city in this poor kingdom and the only place in Kingdom Pito that had a training hall. This information piqued his interest, and he was eager to explore what the city had to offer. Determined to find the training hall, Alexis set out towards the center of the city. As he walked, he noted the various sights and sounds of the bustling metropolis, taking in the sights and sounds of the people going about their daily lives. Finally, he spotted a run-down house with a large sign that read Training Hall. Excited to embark on his training and adventure in the new world, Alexis approached the training hall building with eagerness. As he neared the entrance, a thin man stepped forward and blocked his path, preventing him from entering the building. Alexis was puzzled and asked, "Why can't I enter? Isn't this the training hall? I wanted to train to prepare myself for a job." The man raised a brow at that. "Do you think that we let everybody in for free? You need to pay me first. Give me 500 pesos and you'll have permission to enter." Disappointed, Alexis wandered around the virtual world, searching for a means of earning the necessary funds. He scoured the city of Halen, observing his surroundings and hoping to come across an opportunity to make some money. As he explored, Alexis couldn't help but feel a sense of defeat. He had hoped to start his training right away, but without the required funds, it seemed that his journey would be put on hold. Nevertheless, he remained determined and continued his search, determined to find a way to enter the training hall. As Alexis explored Halen, he came across the makeshift houses, lined with poverty-stricken residents, and makeshift stores where vendors displayed their goods on old sacks. This was a stark contrast to what he was used to in the real world. While wandering, Alexis stumbled upon a run-down temple, indicated by a signage that read Kagulahan. The temple was in a state of disrepair, with broken windows and dim lighting. Despite its worn appearance, Alexis was still drawn to it and decided to take a closer look. Upon entering the temple, Alexis was struck by the eerie silence that permeated the air. There were no worshippers to be seen, but the place still held a certain allure for him. He walked around, taking in the dimly lit surroundings and examining the remnants of the once thriving temple. As he went outside, Alexis saw an old man near the entrance of the temple. As Alexis approached the old man, he noticed the man's wrinkled face and deep-set eyes. The man looked as though he had seen many hard years in his life, and Alexis couldn't help but feel a sense of empathy for him. The man's tattered clothing and unkempt appearance only added to the realism of the game world that Alexis was now a part of. The old man looked up at Alexis and caught his gaze. He had a sad look in his eyes that seemed to be searching for something. Alexis wondered what the old man could possibly want from him in this game world. He decided to approach him and strike up a conversation, eager to explore the new world even further. "Excuse me, sir, can I ask whether you know where I can earn some cash? I need money to enter the training hall." "I am not a sir, young one. I am a priest of this temple dedicated to Kagulahan. Despite my devotion, I fear that even my prayers go unheard in this desolate place. What could a deity of war possibly do for us here?" Zandi paused for a moment, deep in thought. She then decided to have her game avatar express her thoughts. "You know, perhaps if we work together to restore this temple to its former glory, Kagulahan might hear your prayers," Zandi suggested optimistically. The old priest considered Alexis's idea thoughtfully. "Interesting. You might be onto something. If you're willing to help, I'd greatly appreciate it. We need 10 pieces of wood from the narrow tree, 10 pieces of metal from the old mine, and 10 hollow blocks from the evil thieves. With these materials, we could restore this temple to its former glory. Click. Quest, collect 10 wood from the narrow tree, 10 metal from the old mine, and 10 hollow blocks from the evil thieves to restore Kagulahan's temple. Reward, the old priest's trust. Difficulty, D. Excited at the prospect of a quest, Alexis eagerly accepted the challenge. I'll collect them right away, he replied with determination. The old priest then handed him an old club. Take this, it will serve as your protection, he said, entrusting Alexis with the task. The Avatar couldn't help but feel grateful for the opportunity to restore the temple and earn some rewards along the way. Click. You have obtained a weapon. Item, Old Club Type, Club Damage, 10 to 12. Class Restrictions, None. Durability, 50/50. As he approached the forest, Alexis was prepared for the various types of monsters that inhabited the area. However, he set his sights on one particular monster, a wandering creature resembling a narrow tree. With determination in his eyes, Alexis prepared to take it down. With each strike, Alexis grew more and more determined to defeat the creature. The monster roared in anger as it tried to defend itself from the relentless strikes of the club. Alexis swiftly moved around the monster, looking for any opening in its defense. He continued his barrage of strikes, determined to take down the monster once and for all. Alexis relentlessly swung his club at the monster's core. The monster tried to defend itself with its branches, but Alexis was too quick. He expertly dodged each block, his eyes locked on the target. Finally, with a mighty roar, Alexis swung his club with all his might, landing a critical hit directly on the monster's core. The creature let out a painful wail as it crumpled to the ground. Critical hit. Alexis relentlessly struck the monster's weak spot, each blow becoming more and more powerful. He was relentless in his pursuit, determined to vanquish the monster. The club struck the monster with a force that echoed throughout the forest. Every time it tried to defend itself, Alexis found a way to get through its guard, and eventually, after several punishing blows, the monster's life force finally reached zero. All right. Alexis cheered. A pop-up menu appeared before him. You obtained 1 narrow wood. You gained 80 experience points. Excited and proud of his accomplishment, Alexis strode back to the temple with the materials he had collected. As he approached the entrance, he could see the old priest eagerly awaiting his return. With a sense of satisfaction, Alexis presented the materials he had obtained to the old priest. Oh, you're fast. Thank you for collecting them for me. Click. Quest completed. You have leveled up. You are now level 3. The old priest eagerly turned to Alexis and spoke with a hint of shyness. Now that you've begun helping me, would you be willing to see this temple restoration through to the end? Alexis smiled, eager for the opportunity. Of course. I'll be happy to help. The priest's face lit up with joy. Wonderful. First, let's find the carpenter, Lorenzo. He's the one who will bring this temple back to its former glory. Click. Quest, look for the carpenter named Lorenzo. Reward, the old priest's trust. Difficulty, E. Another quest. Zandi thought. This is the second quest from the old priest, but the reward is still the same. The other players might just reject this man's request thinking that the rewards are useless. But Zandi had played several role-playing games in the past, so she knew that series of quests can give off a rare reward upon its completion. I'll accept this quest, the gamer Alexis answered. Zandi decided to take a break from the virtual world and immerse herself in reality. She made her way to the dining hall, eager to fuel her body after hours of intense gaming. The aroma of delicious food filled the air, tempting her taste buds and reminding her how hungry she was. As she sat down at the table, she took a deep breath and savored the moment, grateful for the opportunity to rest and recharge before diving back into her game. "Ms. Zandi, your dinner is ready. We prepared the vegetable salad you wanted," one of the maids said. Zandi ate quietly and went back to the gaming room. She wore the gaming apparatus and logged in once more. Zandi's virtual game avatar, Alexis, opened his eyes. He is back in the continent of Pangea, the game world. After finding the carpenter, the old priest had given him 3 more quests. After completing them, the old priest instructed him to go back after 24 hours of in-game time. In the real world, that is equivalent to an hour. "Alexis, you are back. As promised, I'm giving you a reward." The old priest rummaged within his pouch and pulled out a scroll. He handed it to Alexis. "That's an invitation to change your class into a Sathwa Damara. If you become one, you will be able to legally wield a sword in the continent of Pangea and be able to learn some spells." He looked at Alexis. "So do you want to become one of Kogula and Sathwa Damara?" Zandi can't believe her luck. It's a good thing her game avatar made some rapport with the priest. "I want to change my class into a Sathwa Damara." After agreeing, the game avatar Alexis was enveloped in a bright light. Suddenly, the plain white training clothes that he had been wearing were replaced by a gleaming suit of chain mail. The armor was a brilliant white color, with a large sigil emblazoned on the chest. The sigil was a pentagon, with a leafless tree at its center and wings spread out on either side. Beneath the tree were scattered feathers, and in front of it was a sword with its point facing downwards. At the bottom of the sigil was the name Kogulahan, written in Bibayan, an ancient script used in the Philippines. "I will also give you the training sword of Kogula and Sathwa Damaras. This will help you fight the evil forces in Pangea." The priest handed a wooden arming sword to Alexis. Just like the training sword in the real world, this sword is made from the finest wood that can still inflict some damage on the enemy. The new Sathwa Damara checked the weapon status bar. Alexis read the information regarding the weapon. Item: training sword of a Sathwa Damara type, wooden sword damage, 15 to 20 class restrictions, Sathwa Damara durability, 100/100. Alexis scrolled through the updated stats and was pleasantly surprised by the improvements. He noticed a significant increase in his strength, agility, and defense. The addition of Faith and War Aura was an unexpected bonus, and he couldn't wait to test out his new abilities. With his updated stats, Alexis felt more confident and ready to take on any challenge that the game world of Pangea may throw his way. Username: Alexis. Class: Sathwa Damara. Level: 10 HP, 9200 MP, 4600 Strength, 23 Agility, 15 Dexterity, 15 Intelligence, 18 Mentality, 15 Endurance, 13 Luck, 4 War Aura, 10 Faith, 9. After checking the attributes, Alexis entered the pitchy forest. He was immediately greeted by various types of creatures. The forest was notorious for being a starting area for new players, so the monsters here were relatively easy to defeat. However, Zandi was careful not to underestimate them. With his sword in hand, Alexis charged forward and engaged in battle with the first monster he encountered. The battle was fierce, but Alexis was able to defeat the monster with relative ease. With each victory, Alexis gained valuable experience points, and he soon realized that the experience points earned in the Kingdom of Pito were indeed higher compared to the other kingdoms in the game. As he continued to explore the forest, Alexis noticed that the loot he acquired from the slain creatures was indeed quite low. However, the items dropped by the monsters sold for very little to the NPC merchants in the game, but there was always a chance of receiving a rare item with good additional statistics if he was able to defeat a boss monster. This made it all the more worth it for Zandi, who had not put any additional skill points into her luck trait. The monsters in the pitchy forest were not very difficult to defeat, but they still posed a challenge for Alexis. He continued to fight his way through the forest, honing his skills and gaining valuable experience points. Despite the low loot, Xandi remained determined to level up her game avatar. Xandi decided to level up her game avatar further in preparation for the upcoming boss fight. She continued grinding and hunting monsters in the pitchy forest, honing her skills and improving her stats. After several hours of battling and collecting loot, her game avatar finally reached level 15. Xandi had been eagerly anticipating this moment, as she had heard rumors of the first boss in the pitchy forest, a level 15 creature named LOL, a rabid dog-like beast. With her skills sharp and her stats high, Xandi felt ready for the challenge that lay ahead. Please slay the rabid dog who had bitten my son and bring me its head to prevent other casualties. A female NPC said. Alexis journeyed deep into the heart of the pitchy forest, determined to slay the vicious creature LOL. The path was treacherous and filled with many dangers, but Alexis remained focused on his mission. He had accepted the quest and was determined to see it through to the end. With each step he took, his heart raced with excitement, knowing that he was getting closer to his ultimate goal. The thrill of the hunt, and the thrill of the fight, all added to the adrenaline pumping. Pitchy Forest, Area C. Alexis entered the area and a monster that looked like a stray cat started attacking him. Monster name, Puzacal level, 13 health, 5561 mana, 3270 bring it on kitty. With quick reflexes, Alexis unsheathed his weapon and engaged the monster in battle. The stray cat-like monster proved to be a tough opponent, but Alexis was determined to defeat it. He moved with precision and agility, avoiding the monster's sharp claws and fangs while landing precise strikes. The creature used its claws to inflict some damage on the gamer. Alexis used his wooden sword to block them, however, some of the creature's attacks reached Alexis and caused damage. Critical hit. Alexis inflicted damage that lowers the creature's health points or HP to half. The cat-like creature cried for help and two more Puzacals joined in the fight. Alexis jumped backward and pivoted to prevent being at the center of the creature's combination attacks. He distanced slightly away from the beasts. Skills window. Alexis shouted. A pop-up window appeared. He clicked the sword-like icon with two parallel lines to activate a skill. Wind Sword Slash. The game avatar slashes the sword downward to create a wind element blow that hits the first creature he was fighting earlier. Critical hit. You gain 50 experience points. Alexis runs towards the other creature and hit it directly on its skull. The assault resulted in a decrease of 30% in the creature's HP. The other creature runs towards Alexis. The player used another skill. Ribbon Flow. He jumped, slicing both enemies thrown upward with him. The slice attacks to the two creatures continued as Alexis turned 360 degrees while swaying his sword clockwise until they returned to the ground. These attacks consumed 15% of his magic points or MP. His MP is now reduced to half. The creature's HP hits 0. Alexis wiped off his sweat and looked at the loot that his fallen enemies left. This game is really realistic. Now I'm sweating hard, just like I do after my swordsmanship training. He started picking up the monster drops one by one. You found 1 vaccine. You found 4 pesos. You found 2 vaccines. You found 10 pesos. You found the cat's fur. You found garbage. The notifications flashed along his line of vision every time he picked up the loot. After acquiring all the loot, Xandi's game avatar, Alexis rested for a while. When Alexis fully recovered his health and mana, he made his way to the entrance of the boss's lair, carefully preparing himself for the impending battle. The entrance was dark and foreboding, but Alexis was determined. He took a deep breath and steeled himself for the fight ahead. Just before entering the cave, he took one final moment to reflect and then saved the game once more. Now, the real fight begins. Alexis declared as he stepped into the darkness, his sword at the ready. Loading, please wait. End of chapter 2.